But that's where you gotta go with the flow, roll with the punches. And that's what jumping, not looking before you leap, can do for you. It gives you a little more, it increases your ability to adapt when things go wrong. So personally, I'm not saying don't research stuff to death, but every once in a while, just take a chance. Ask the girl out. Buy the big house. Figure the rest of it out later. And lastly, hit record on your camera. It will be okay, I promise. All right, have a good one. We'll talk to you very soon. Hey, I'm Chris. Welcome to Capturing Chris, my testing grounds for new ideas in travel, photography, and exciting destinations, one frame at a time. I wanted to talk about fear today. And the reason I wanted to talk about that is because I am the type of person that often does not look before they leap, so to say. But most of the time, this has paid off for me. And I believe it will pay off for you too, as long as you keep these two things in mind. When you do something before you have all the information, you must be ready to accept the consequences of that. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so great. You know, I could have spent hours researching what to do in Holbox, Mexico, researching how to do that, how to go there, researching the dangers of Cancun, and scared myself out of the trip, quite frankly. But what I did instead is I just left. Now, had I researched just a tad bit more, I would have figured out that their system to get from one terminal to another is not like the US's. Would have been great information to have just to go there on a more educated frame of mind. Now, it worked out for me because I got a private taxi in the parking lot on my way home because I was going to walk because they were going to charge me, I think it was $300 for a 5-minute cab ride because I was going to miss my international flight. Even though I had three hours to make the plane. So I knew I could walk there. There's always a way. That's really my mantra. There's always a way. You might not like the way, but it's always there. Impossibility, there's very few things you cannot accomplish or do if you really put your mind to it. And, you know, it was a little scary being in the back of that taxi, not knowing, am I going to get kidnapped? I mean, I'm in Mexico. I'm hearing all these kidnapped stories. The guy seems nice, but I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where Terminal 3 is in the Cancun airport. I just know I need to get there. Luckily, it worked out. And so if my family would have been with me, might have done things a little differently, but I was willing to take that chance. 2 days ago, I ordered a NAS storage system. It's a networking storage system. I don't know anything about storage systems. I don't know anything about networks, so I get it. It's from Ugreen. And I'm watching the install video, and I'm seeing, and it's labeled a 120 terabyte system. So I'm thinking it has 120 terabytes of storage. why wouldn't you think that? Well, apparently, you wouldn't think that because that's not how networks work. It gives you the shell of what to put your hard drives in to be able to have a network you can tap into. So it's an amazing system because an individual can have their own network for under $1,000. But I thought I was going to be able to replace these 5 terabyte drives with this 120 terabyte system for $300. I should have known it was too good to be true, but for whatever reason, didn't even come up on my radar that, hey, perhaps you don't have the right information. So I'm setting this network up, and I'm like, it won't save to anything. Hey, I'm starting to do more research, and it's like, yeah, you got it. I'm asking ChatGPT, I'm like, why won't this work? They're like, and it's like, well, what size hard drive did you put in there? I'm like, I didn't put a hard drive in there. They're like, well, that's why it won't work. So while the NAS system was $300, that was the system to give you a network, not with the infrastructure set up to have a network. That's another $700. So that's going back to Amazon, unfortunately. I about ordered it from China because it was $100 less. I'm glad I didn't. That's an example of how, if I would have done the research a little bit more, I probably wouldn't have made that mistake. But now I know. But, you know, I'm paying $130 for a 5 terabyte drive, external drive at Target and stuff. And in researching what is going on, I was able to find a 26 terabyte external hard drive that does have the inside shit in it, so it works correctly, for $300. So I still ended up saving myself $200, gave myself enough memory for next year because my files are getting massive. And I wouldn't have found that had I not taken a chance on the network system I bought that I shouldn't have. But so it all worked out, is my point. And for me, that's kind of my life story. It seems to always work out, not because I settle, but because I keep trying to improve and keep trying to do better. And so if you do the same thing, I think you'll have similar results. You know, I started my photography media business not knowing how to do it. I learned it as I went. And so I'm hoping on this digital product launch and on this fan challenge, I mean, the top 10 people based on sales are going to go visit Gary Vee. I know no matter what I do, I am not going to be a top 10 contender. I probably won't be in the top 50%. Might be in the top 50%. But the next year I'm doing it, I'm going to have more sales. I'm not worried about winning. 5 people get to go up there anyway, and wouldn't that be amazing if I can get $555 of sales in two months? And with their help, I can't imagine not being able to do that. But wouldn't that be amazing to be one of those lucky people that got drawn out of a hat, so to speak, and able to understand what he's doing and talk to the other 10 people that are doing amazing things. Now, I'm not that driven. I'm 58 years old, soon to be 59. So I'm just trying to get a couple revenue streams going so I can travel and spend time with my family and do what I love. I'm not trying to build an empire. But if you are, then, like as they used to say, the world is your oyster. But none of that will happen if you don't start. And you can talk about how life's not fair, how it's just too hard, how there's always something going against you. You know, the real estate business in Florida right now is slow. And I hop on a couple of these photography forums from time to time. There's a guy saying that he's going to give up because he's giving stuff away. He's giving stuff to realtors. They're not calling him back. Well, first, you know, all this stuff. And in my opinion, he should give up because he's given up. I mean, if you to that level to where you're announcing you want to give up and you really are doing it because you mean it, not because you want attention, it's time to call it a day. Or maybe re-examine your expectations. You think the realtor that used you 6 months ago is happy he doesn't have another listing to give you? Most realtors sell like one house or get a listing 1 or 2 times a year. And the top 20% are the only ones that get multiple listings. So you might have been unlucky enough, and as a new photographer, until you get known and until your pictures get out there, probably the only people that are going to use you are new photographers or new realtors, The only people that are going to use you are new realtors that are trying to save money on their photos because they don't understand how important photos are. But know what you're getting yourself into and plan for it. If you need a certain amount of income, I suggest you set that aside before you start anything. Unless there's just no choice. And if there's no choice, I suggest you cancel your subscriptions to Netflix, Apple TV, Peacock, and at night, start working on your business. That's my suggestion from an old guy. Maybe not eat out so much, stop the Starbucks. But if you're doing all those things, then just keep going. And if you're good, and if you're really trying to help people, it will eventually turn around. But for me, I'm going to Maine, Acadia National Park. I'm watching the weather. It's been beautiful weather the whole month of freaking September. And because it's Maine, it's far. Can't just drive to Maine easily. So I'm flying to Maine. It's leaf season, fall foliage. So places are packed. You know, if you don't book ahead, you're not going to have a reservation. All the planning in the world, I can't change the weather. And now, for 3 weeks, I click on the weather in Acadia. The week I'm there, it's supposed to be gorgeous. Now, all of a sudden, it's freaking raining every day. We'll make the best out of the trip. And so we're going to pivot if we need to. I'm going to start researching how to take rainy day photos of fall foliage, because I'm not spending all this money to go up to Maine and not come back with something. And whatever I get, it's going to be better than what I have now, which is nothing. But that's where you got to go with the flow, roll with the punches. And that's what jumping, not looking before you leap, can do for you. It gives you a little more, it increases your ability to adapt when things go wrong. So personally, I'm not saying don't research stuff to death, but every once in a while, just take a chance. Ask the girl out. Buy the big house. Figure the rest of it out later. And lastly, hit record on your camera. It will be okay, I promise. All right, have a good one. We'll talk to you very soon. This is where I experiment. If you want to see the real side of the journey and some exciting destinations along the way, subscribe now and follow along. Don't miss the next video. Hit subscribe.